Start with Tim Bontemps.
Two things quick, Brad. First, do you have an update on Jaylen and Jayson yet in terms of what their availability is?
Both likely available.
And then I think you said before the game Friday, might have been after that you've seen some encouraging signs in terms of progress over the past few games. I was curious what specifically you've seen beyond just getting a few wins that you've liked, and how can you kind of translate that into some success on this road trip?
Well, this is a really hard road trip, obviously. We're playing really good teams. Nobody's hotter than Denver right now. But, I'm looking at it more objectively of how we respond in the middle of games. The way that we've stayed with it. Those types of things have been better as of late. And, I think that, we're not perfect. We have some things that we have to manage. We've talked about that all year. And hopefully we're getting a little bit better at that. I just think when you have Tristan's presence back has really helped. I think because then you've got, Rob can play, as many minutes as he can, and Tristan can fill in the rest. And, I thought that was a really, his presence in the New York game and the other night, the physicality, made a difference for us. And then, I think that guys are, conscious of things we haven't done well and focused on doing them better.
Mark Medina.
Brad, good to see you. I was wondering, how would you size up Nikola Jokic and what he's done this season compared to some of the other MVP candidates?
Well, I don't really, get into comparing them. But I would say that he is one of the most unique players I've ever coached against. His size, his passing, his vision. He basically doubles as their center and point guard, depending on what they want to do. Their uniqueness of their actions is that a lot of their actions are inverted. I think, you've got Jokic with the ball and you've got Murray setting screens. You've got Jokic coming off a pin down. You've got Murray setting the down screen. They're doing some of that stuff with Gordon as well, with, Murray setting back screens for Gordon and then him picking on, the opponent if they switch it. Murray slipping it if they don't, with Jokic as a ball handler. Like it's such a weapon to have Jokic and his decision making at the 5. And they utilize it terrifically. Like they really have a good way about them. And he's the hub of it all.
Gary Washburn.
Hey, Brad, 2 questions on late game situations. One, in the Knicks game where you guys had the run out and it was the Minnesota game where Jaylen gave to Jayson for the dunk. It was like 17.3 left. Would you have rather Jayson kind of hold the ball until someone comes and maybe score then? It's a very strange situation, but it was 17 seconds left still. And
you take the basket there. Take the 17 seconds. Take it 17 seconds left. It's a ton of time. They still had at least 1 timeout, maybe 2. No, you take the basket there. If you dribble around, they're going to come trap. You don't have everybody down the floor. If you don't have 3 outlets on the trap, you got a likelihood of throwing it away. You still have to make both free throws. They're going to have time to come down and get a 3 off and tie the game anyways, even if you dribble it out. So you take the basket there.
And then did you consider fouling?
Too much time left. They had 1 timeout left, so it was too much time in the way that we do the foul scenarios. If they didn't have a timeout left, Gary, maybe at around that time, but with 8 or 9 with a timeout left, they still have a chance to advance. You still have to get the ball in. There's all kinds of issues with that.
Leonardo Torres.
Coach, it's Leonardo Torres from Peru. Hope you're well. Coach, how do you slow down an MVP candidate like Nikola Jokic? And what are your thoughts on Facundo Campas?
Well, I think, first of all, to answer the latter, I think he's really good and really fun to watch, and has always been fun to watch. I've been watching him on the international stage for a long time. And then as far as slowing down Jokic, I mean, it's easier said than done. He scored at will on us in the last game, but I think you have to balance how much he's getting others involved and how much you're reacting to his challenge shots and challenge post-ups that he's making. He's a really difficult guy to guard because if you put two on the ball, both, if he sets a pick and roll and you put two on the ball and he gets it and he's playing 4-on-3, he kills you. If you put two on the ball in the post, he slices you up with passing. And he's so big and strong. I think to me, the step that he's made towards being an MVP candidate is that he punishes you by scoring the ball. He didn't always do that, at least in the couple of times we see him a year. I felt like he desired to pass so much more than to score. And now he just takes whatever the defense gives him, in my opinion, and he just scores it at will on guys.
Final question, Jared Weiss.
Mentioning how you guys play out the foul scenarios, do you consider recent events and how they played out in factoring those decisions, or do you just strictly stick to the data?
No, data is such a small part of it. It just gives you a guideline if you use it, but you have to consider everything. You have to consider who's in there to rebound. You have to consider how well you can guard the perimeter. I mean, I thought we guarded the shot that Russell shot really well, and we still had 9 seconds left to come down and get a shot off ourselves. So there are all kinds of factors that you have to consider. Time is certainly a huge factor. Timeouts left by the opponent are a huge factor, but so is offensive rebounding. When was the last time you saw a foul called on an offensive rebound attempt? It's hard to get a rebound when everybody's going the way they go. And so you got to make sure that you consider and factor in everything.
All right, we'll wrap it up right there. Thanks, Coach.